This is Stat by Amar'e Stoudemire. We're on chapter 5. "Rise and grind," said my older brother. In case I missed it, he clapped his hands next to my head. I cracked my eyes open. Sunlight was streaming into the room and he was standing next to my bed. "Come on, man," I groaned. "It's Saturday." I wrapped the pillow around my ears and turned back over. I knew from experience that he wasn't going away. He was dressed up, and that meant that it was time for me to get going too. Clap, clap, clap. All right, I said, throwing the covers back. I had to get up anyway, but I wouldn't have minded doing it on my own without sound effects. I was halfway through watching my second cartoon and all the way through my second bowl of cereal when Dad came into the room. "Better get ready," he said. "Already ready," I reported. I had my work clothes on, just some old shorts and a t-shirt that had seen better days. Sometimes I helped Dad out with his lawn care company. It worked out for both of us. He got an extra set of hands, and I got some spending money. I took my cereal bowl to the kitchen and then followed him out to the truck. "Gonna be a hot one," he said. I looked up and felt the sun already strong on my face. He was right, but I knew he didn't mind. He liked it here in Florida and liked being outdoors. As for me, I was just glad I'd gone with the shorts. "We've got to make a few stops," said Dad as he double-checked the hitch on the trailer that had the mowers in it. There were riding mowers for the other workers, a smaller push mower for me, and a bunch of other stuff like rakes and a bucket of work gloves and gardening equipment. "Yeah?" I said. "Yep," he said. "Got the whole crew working today." "Where are we working?" I asked. "One of the big places right on the lake," he said. "Nice," I said. We climbed into the cab of the truck and I lowered the window on my side and rested my arm there, letting my elbow hang out into the sun. I knew we'd be picking up a few of the guys, and I'd have to scooch all the way over next to Dad when we did. But for now, I was riding shotgun. "Try not to take up too much space over there," said Dad, noticing how comfortable I was making myself. "Like father, like son," I said. A quick laugh rumbled from his chest, and he turned the key to start the truck. I was the last person out when we got to the house where we were working. That's what happens when you end up squished in the middle. I walked around to stretch out my legs as Dad started talking business with the guys who owned the home. I guess there was a lot of business to talk about because my legs were good and stretched out before their mouths were anywhere close to shut. I decided to walk around to the other side of the big yellow house and take a look at the main lawn. First of all, it was a long walk. These big houses right on the lake were something else. 3 floors and who knows how many rooms. Second, it was worth the trip. I turned the corner and saw a huge green lawn sloping down and ending in the blue water of the lake. It was just green and blue stretched out in front of me. "Any problems?" I heard behind me. I whirled around like I was coming off a screen and looking for a pass, but it was just my dad. "What do you mean, Pops?" I said. "The way you were looking around, I thought that same herd of buffalo might have come through here," he said. "You mean whoever's been messing up lawns lately?" I said. "Yep." We both took another quick look around the lawn. "Doesn't look like it," I said. "Nope," he said. "All I see is a whole lot of grass in need of mowing." Right on cue, I heard the sound of one of the big riding mowers coming around the side of the house. Dad heard it too, and it kicked him back into big boss mode. "Well, I'm not paying you to stand here and gawk," he said. "Fire up that push mower and get started on the front." All right, I said, heading back the way I'd come. Dad continued to shout instructions as I went. "Make sure you get down by the road, but watch out for the mailbox and those rose bushes." That was always my job. I mowed around the front, taking extra care to avoid the garden and shrubs and all that other stuff that those turbocharged riding mowers were liable to run right over. I'd gotten pretty good at it, cutting the grass and leaving the rest. I was like a specialist, secret agent double most 7. Back out front, I gave the cord two good hard tugs and the mower started right up. After that, I got right to work. All I could hear was the brrrr of the engine, and all I could smell was the fresh cut grass. Between that and the sun beating down on my head, I started to zone out a little. I kept thinking about that big back lawn. It looked like an acre or maybe two, and right now Dad and his guys were mowing all that tall grass as neat and trim as any barber ever could. And at the end of it, there was the lake with a little wooden dock and a boat tied up at the end. Wouldn't it be amazing to have a house like that myself someday? I caught a flash of red in front of me. It was the hat of a brightly painted garden gnome. I turned the mower just in time to avoid running it over. Phew, I said. That was close. Running over that little statue would have been bad for it, worse for the mower, and worse for me. I needed to get my head back in the game before I committed gnome aside. For the rest of the job, I kept my eyes down just like I did when I was skating over an extra bumpy stretch of sidewalk. The only other thing I let myself think about was what I'd do with the money I was earning. Maybe the movies. Or a new pair of kicks. I'd definitely get some music. As the day got longer, the grass got shorter. I was mowing the last few feet of grass down by the road when I saw it. Someone had taken an empty soda can, twisted it so the metal was bent, and then crushed it flat. Then they just dropped it on the lawn. A few feet later, someone had kicked a little hunk of grass up. Next to that, there was a candy wrapper hanging from a bush like a chocolate-smeared earring. The sidewalk was just a few feet away, but whoever did this had kicked up the guy's lawn anyway. And there was a trash can on the corner, but they'd used the lawn for that too. I threw out the wrapper and the crushed up can. Then I put the little wedge of grass back in place and pressed it down, just like the golfers do on TV. I decided not to tell my dad. I knew it would just make him mad. No need to ruin a good day.